Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be discussing about my loss and how I'm coping and how I am continuing to cope. I just want people to know that I've had friends and family that have went through loss, and I've been that support person for them, and I now know what it's like to lose your child. So I am going to just be supportive of anyone that needs support and know that I know what you're feeling. So I went to my 38-week appointment, and it felt normal, felt fine. I thought, everything was going to be fine, normal. And I was having Braxton Hicks, so my uterus was like contracting and my stomach would get really hard. So, but I knew it wasn't like full on labor, because when you feel full on labor. And so the doctor came in, because I was seeing a doctor. I was seeing midwives and doctors. For some reason, my office didn't have enough midwives, so I had to see doctors time to time. Well, he came in and he, the routine, how are you feeling? It was just a routine checkup. You don't have an ultrasound or anything done. Because like 5 days before, I had an ultrasound done to make sure he was head down, ready to go. That's usually what they do around 37 weeks. And I was going to ask for a cervix check. Well, clearly things changed. They were looking for his heartbeat, and they used the Doppler, which is like a small probe that they put on your stomach to kind of listen to the heartbeat. And he couldn't find it, so he was thinking, oh, maybe the Doppler's dead or something. So, he went from the top of my stomach all the way down to try to find him. And then he asked the nurse for a bedside ultrasound, which is like a small ultrasound that they use to kind of bring over to the bed. It's not really like the high-tech fancy ultrasound that they use. He couldn't really see anything, let alone get a heartbeat of any kind. So I think at that point, that's when I knew I was going to get the bad news. My husband was with me at the time, thank goodness, because I was going to go by myself. I was going to go by myself to this appointment, but I'm glad I didn't. So he said, let's go to the ultrasound, see if she's available, because an ultrasoundist is more experienced in how to find like a heartbeat or find anything, it's a more high-tech technology than the little bedside one. I looked at my husband and I just knew that it wasn't going to be good, but I was trying to be hopeful that maybe he was just being stubborn and they couldn't find his heartbeat. So I lay there and she puts the gel on, she puts the probe on, and they found his head, they found his heart. I did not see it beating. They didn't know that I knew that, but they checked for blood flow. So they do this thing where it blinks blue and red to discover if it's any blood flow going through the heart. And it didn't even blink at all. It just kind of blipped and there was nothing there after that. My child's playing with his toys and dumping them on my bed. So if you hear him, that's him.
Help me.
And then I will never forget the words of the doctor saying, there's no heartbeat. It's the hardest words to ever hear, and you repeat them in your head over and over and over again. And I'm trying not to cry, but that's the reality of it. That's what happened. no rhyme or reason. Don't know why it happened. You can't see anything on an ultrasound to discover what's going on. So I sobbed. My husband quickly came over because he was sitting in a chair. Quickly came over and hugged me, and just we cried together. And my husband's not a crier, and for him to lose his child too, I think both of us, our heart broke in half and was never the same again, and it never will be. So after that, I asked him, what do we do next? Because I know I'm going to have to deliver this baby. It's full term. So he said, we're going to have to deliver you. We can do it tonight or we can do it tomorrow morning, whatever you decide. And I told him I just wanted a night with my living oldest son and to kind of just go from there and hope for the best in the morning. And so later that night, I got a call from the hospital from the midwife that delivered my son. And she just was in utterly shock. She didn't think that this would happen to such a healthy person, let alone my baby was healthy. My doctor that discovered no heartbeat also just kept saying, I don't understand. You are completely healthy. I mean, your pregnancy was completely normal. Nothing abnormal came up. So, as the midwife called me that night, she said to come in the morning at 8 a.m. It's kind of like an appointment, like an induction is what it was. It was an induction appointment. And so I went in and that night was just rough. I mean, I cried and cried and cried and cried and cried over and over and over again, just thinking, why did this have to happen to me? I had to make some phone calls to my parents because I was living with them at the time. I had to call my husband's parents and let them know what was going on. And it wasn't good. It was really, really bad. The next morning we went to the hospital and I just was still in shock. I mean, this is not anybody can ever imagine to happen to them. So my nurse came in and she's like, let's just get some vitals on you, and then the doctor will come in and we'll just kind of determine what we're going to go with, how we're going to induce you, because there's different ways to induce you. So he came in with a bedside ultrasound just to make sure that the heartbeat, maybe there was a blip or anything. But he's like, I'm not trying to be mean, but I just want to be sure. And I was totally fine with that. He was the same doctor I had the night before, or for the appointment. So I wanted him to induce me. I wanted him to be sure that whatever happened for whatever reason. And as you see, my son's shooting dart guns. Anyway, so we did the ultrasound and still no heartbeat. No. He's fighting with the cat. So, we decided to check me, see how dilated I was, and I was about a 2, so it's not bad. Then he decided to use this pill. They wait you for 4 hours after that, and then they recheck you. And I went to 2.5, maybe. It wasn't much progress. So then we did another dose of the pill, doubled it, see what happens, and it was another 4 hours. So this was 8 hours of nothing happening. I was having mild contractions, but enough to not really feel it. I mean, it was whatever. And then he checked me again. He said, you're 3, but you're totally effaced, so I can break your water and we can go from there. So after he broke my water, I was having contractions every 5 minutes, and then they just kind of progressed even more from there. I was only in labor for 56 minutes from start of the horrible contractions to the delivery. They had a monitor on me to kind of keep track of my contractions, see how long they were and how strong they were, and so they were pretty intense in the end. So I really felt like I had to go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom, and they were just really, really bad. And I asked my mom and my husband to please help me get back into the bed, because I was like, I'm going to have this baby on the toilet. And I was like, not about that. So I laid back in bed, had a contraction, and then I was like, oh, that one was really, really bad. My mom was like, okay, well, let's see how long they are. And they were like 2 minutes. And she was like, okay. And then I had another one, and sure enough, I could feel like the ring of fire. And I said, Mom, he's coming out. Like, there's nothing I can do to stop this. I pushed, and his head was out. Then she ran to go get the nurses and the doctors, because I asked for pain medication to kind of help to put in my IV. And he was literally ordering it, and she goes, she's having the baby, like, right now. And the doctor's like, what? And she's like, yeah, like, right now, like he's coming out right now. So they all run in. Now, mind you, this was in the middle of, like, change of shift. So, like, the day shift and the night shift were, like, switching. And both my nurses come in. The nurse I had all day and the nurse I had that night came in, and they were helping me finish with the delivery, help me deliver the placenta, all that fun stuff that I won't go into. So I forgot to add, so as the nurses were helping me deliver, they found the cord wrapped around his thigh, and that's what caused him to pass away. But then they cleaned him up, and I got to see him, and he was the most beautiful boy ever. He looks just like his brother when he was a baby. And he does have a little different features, but I can't really, like, completely tell because he was stillborn. And, I mean, it's not the same. He was littler than my son. He was 6 pounds, 15 ounces, and 19 inches long, so he was a little tiny peanut. But most beautiful boy, and I got to hold him, and then his daddy held him, my mom held him. My grandparents were there during the delivery, so they got to hold him because he's named after them. So, that's my birth story, and that's how I found out I had a stillborn. I am still healing. I am still trying to get through this tough time, and I am seeing a therapist. And please subscribe and like and comment. I am here for you, as you are all here for me, and this is my journey. And there's only hope to go from here. I hope that he knows that I love him, and I hope that he knows that he was wanted. And I will continue to talk to him, and I will continue to celebrate him and let him know that he is loved. His big brother loves him so much. He was so excited to meet him. And I think he's still confused because we didn't come home with the baby. But he's seen pictures of his baby brother, and he knows that he's a big brother. So,
All pictures of baby brother.
Yeah. So, thanks for watching. Bye, guys.